It's nice to see you again.
And actually, since we've talked, I've been hard at work in preparing a couple of different options that I thought might be interesting for you to hear. I put together the quote based on the dialogue we had the last time. There are a couple of other things we had not addressed, and I wanted to take a little bit of your time today to cover some of that.
Okay.
So just so we're clear, we had talked about a 6-door, 6-reader solution, and you told me you would be needing about 200 cards.
Correct.
Before I get into that, what I'd like to do is hear a little bit more about your business.
Yeah, we're an office furniture manufacturer, so we assemble and manufacture the wood, the furniture here in the shop that you've seen in the back.
Since you're a small to medium-sized business, I'm pretty sure you get a pretty hands-on approach on everything, wanting to stay in control.
Correct, but there are certain things that we do outsource
Okay.
by sheer virtue of the fact that we are not experts in those. So
Okay.
things like IT, payroll for sure. So the standard business functions, we typically outsource those things.
Cleaning services,
Absolutely.
marketing.
You bet.
How about finance?
Finance, payroll,
Yeah,
correct.
Okay. And okay, well that's good because that fits right in to the options I was going to talk to you about.
Okay.
So one thing I did forget to ask the last time is, who actually will take care of the system? Who's going to manage this?
Susie, our receptionist, will be managing the system for us.
Okay, great, Susie. Yeah, I've met Susie a couple of times. She's a nice girl. So what does Susie do normally? Like, what's her?
Susie does all the data entry for all of our various products and some of the light work on the books. Nothing too heavy there. So as well as she's our general computer expert here around the office. We rely on her quite a bit.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of the go-to person, the
For
glue that holds you guys together.
Without her, I'm nothing.
I get that. Yeah, we have people like that around the office too. So how about Susie from a security standpoint? What's her background there?
Security standpoint, well, not much really. She's our office manager, if you will, or our receptionist. Yeah, so
Okay.
security is not her forte.
Okay, good. Well, all right. So we have a few options here. What I was going to discuss with you is, of course, I have my quote ready for you. So we could do this where we install it on a computer that you would provide.
Can't just use the PC that we have lying in the closet.
No, I've seen those dust buckets before. I'm sure you're serious about your security and you want it
Yes.
to run well. One of the options I wanted to discuss with you is actually the managed access control. What that entails is that we actually take over the management of the system, the heavy lifting, all of that stuff that would actually cause Susie to waste her time on something that she's really not as efficient at as she would be with other things. And what that means to you is that you would now have a system that would be hosted within our facility. So we have a fully redundant system within ADT that is managed by our experts, IT and security experts, that would provide you with the service of security. So basically what we would do is we would actually do all of the heavy lifting for you and provide you that service of security just like you do with IT, payroll management, marketing, cleaning services and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah. So you let the experts do what they do and you go back to managing a business to build furniture.
So obviously there's a cost to this.
Oh, there is, yeah. But the good news is I have a calculator here that I can show you. And what I'd like to do is go through this with you so that you understand that there's a cost any which way you do it. If you do it yourself, I'm sure as Susie comes in, she gets paid, right?
She likes that.
She probably does. And then I'm sure before I showed up here today, telling you that Susie or somebody would have to administer this, she had a full week ahead. She had a full day, probably more than, every day is a big day for Susie.
She's
right?
a busy girl, correct.
Exactly. So if I was to tell you that she now has an extra few hours every week that she has to do something that she doesn't really know, then that time's got to come out of something.
So it would take more time for her to manage the system. It's not something, it's not like an air conditioner. We plug it in and it turns on. We actually have to maintain it.
That's it. If they did the best possible job and if they knew what they were doing. So in other words, if they're very efficient at what they do, this is how many hours a good person would take to manage the system properly. So, all right, 6 readers, 200 cards. You're looking at 3 hours a week.
See?
Okay. And again, some people don't don't take 3 hours a week to keep their system in good health, but I'm sure you want it to run properly.
I'm spending money. I want the best I can get.
Exactly. So without divulging any state secrets here, I would assume that Susie is probably within $40,000 a year. Let's pick that as a number.
Sure.
Just as a round figure. So if she spends 3 hours a week and you're paying her $40,000 a year, you're going to end up spending $3,000 a year in order for Susie to manage the system. That's if Susie knows what she's doing, right? So, and there's another side to this too. We talked about the computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a software. If you buy this yourself, if you manage this yourself, and you provide us with a computer, obviously you're buying this computer somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
You are buying a software that's going to be running on this computer, and you're going to have IT manage this machine.
Sure.
Keeping it up to speed from a Windows update standpoint, from a security standpoint, from a networking standpoint, also from a security standpoint. Cantech actually has a lot of updates that bring you new features, and you'd have to pay to keep getting those put onto your system, right?
Okay.
So typically what we see the cost of that being is about $2,150 for your initial cost if we look at all these things bundled together. Okay? So all told, what we're looking at here is $5,150 for the first year. That's the cost for the year for you to administer, manage, and support the system on your own. Okay? Good news is I have a better, more cost-efficient option for you.
I'm all ears because that's an expenditure I wasn't expecting.
I understand, and most people don't, so that's why I wanted to talk to you about that. So, so we have an option. The option, well, we actually have two options in terms of us managing or taking on some of those responsibilities. We have an option called Managed Access Control. So what that is I take on, we collectively, ADT, takes on the burden of the heavy lifting and all of what's involved in terms of getting this system going and keeping it going based on what you need for your business. This one will cost $20 a reader per month.
Okay.
Okay, so if we do the math, $20 a reader per month, that's $120 per month. Okay, so over the period of a year, that's $1,440.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're basically cutting the cost in three. And Susie goes back to doing what she does, and she doesn't have to fake the management of her security solution. So for $1,440, we run it, we're the experts, and then you benefit from having the time to run your business.
True enough, but we're also very hands-on, and that option to me would seem like I lose a level of control. If you're managing everything for us, I don't have the ability to control my own system.
You can still have full control of your system. In fact, with any Windows-enabled device, you could actually log onto our portal and have full control over door management. So you can lock, unlock doors, see the status of that door. You can program cards, delete them. You can even go as far as getting a report. So you pick a template, pick the time frame. Let's say you want to know who's coming over the weekend. Put the time frame in, execute that report, and within minutes, you're going to get that report right on your BlackBerry. I mean, that's another benefit that you would not get from administering your own system.
And how much would that option cost?
It's actually included with the service. So for $1,440 a year, you actually get remote access into your software. And you obviously keep all the control you need in terms of card management, in terms of managing doors and locking and unlocking doors. You could also run reports. So you could decide that you want to see a certain thing over a period of time. You fill out the different fields of what you're interested in. We would prepare canned reports for you, so the types of things you might want to know. And when you click send, within a few minutes you get an email with that report, and you see exactly what's happened over that period of time.
Is there a more cost-effective option?
You do realize that does save you money, right?
I can appreciate that, but I'm still spending money. So how can I spend less?
Well, there's the other option, what we call hosted. So what hosted is basically we host the solution on our secured computers.
Okay.
All right. You would be utilizing that same portal I described earlier that allows you to stay in touch and in control of your solution. At that point, Susie then would be managing the solution through the internet onto our hosting platform.
Mm-hmm.
So you benefit from all that, and at that point, Susie then has access to the web portal I was talking about, and she does the heavy lifting. So she does the management day in, day out. That option is $10 a reader per month. So we're looking at $60 a month instead of $120, and so the overall cost would be $720 a year.
So the difference in the services then is that in the lesser model, the hosted model,
Correct.
we still do all the work.
Correct.
So Susie would still require training. Susie would still have to have a minimal understanding of security processes and best practices, as you put it.
Correct. So, well, what do you think of $720?
I like it better than 1440.
Okay. So that seems like a reasonable option for you.
It does.
Okay. Well, before we go ahead and sign the contract for $720, I'd like to explore what you're losing by going with that option. So basically, yes, it's less expensive, but for $60 a month, what you get is you get us, the security expert, actually managing your security solution, utilizing the best practices, and utilizing all of that experience of all those people that have been doing security for all these years. So what we would do is we would actually set up the system for you. We'd keep it managed properly, fully backed up, redundant. We'd be even capable of sending you emails in case something happens. So if, say, Susie or somebody else comes in on weekends or at night, it's fun that they come in, but maybe you'd want to get an email about that. Or maybe someone else should get an email about it that cares about that stuff. Maybe you'd want to know that somebody tried to use their cards at the wrong door. Maybe you'd want to know if a card was that was deleted or reported stolen was actually utilized somewhere. Maybe you'd want to know right away on your BlackBerry. So all of these things would happen for that $60 a month. And you can go back and worry about manufacturing furniture.
Okay. I like that idea.
All right. Well, Guido, I think we can move ahead. If we sign today, I could have my crew back here in a week, and we could start the work.
Let's get her done.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
Mr. Smith.
All right.